So I'm just going to say hello and welcome. I'm looking forward to more of the background feeling because every time I experience this work, I find that I go deeper.
I think that this concept of the background feeling is such a central, important one. And it's one that can be a foundation for so much study about the larger interactions that we are, not only in the family, but in our culture, in our generation. I mean, there's so much about the background feeling that you're going to help us enter into these waters, and we're so grateful.
Hello, to all the people I know and to the people I will discover, and you are invited to go in this journey. For some people, they are familiar with background feeling that was brought by Gendlin, and he mentioned it in his famous focusing book in chapter 7. I love the famous chapter 7. And he was speaking about background feeling, but for some people, maybe it's a bit new. So I will say a bit is what it is. So when Gendlin was speaking about background feeling, it was in the context of the clearing a space. And he was inviting us to clear our space. I know that for some people, clearing a space is not easy. But the main idea is to invite us to have some distance from the usual problems, issue, little things. And then when he was inviting us to place things beside or just there, another way is to invite you to let the things you carry to find their own place to deposit themselves. So that instead of working hard, you're asking those little things you are carrying there that are taking too much place for now, and you invite them to deposit where they want. So somewhere it's like from their point of view. An aspect of it, and he said, when we clear our space, it could be still, there is also a little thing that he called, so I will find the word because sometimes in speaking English, I get mixed with my language, French, with my accent, sorry for that. He said that often when we put things down, people remark, oh, I am not the problem. That's the main important thing, that we have problems, we have issues, but we are not our problems. And then he said, if nothing, it can come some more space when we clear our space, but if nothing happens, he said, there is also if nothing like that happens, Gendlin invites us to pay attention to the background feeling. Or for some people, they call it wallpaper. In Spanish, it was telón de fondo. En français, it's like a toile de fond. But this feeling that comes, as he was saying, there is often also a background feeling. Some way you always feel always sad, always rushing, always trying hard, always. I will say often, it's maybe not always, it can be often. So it's a kind of recurrent felt sense that is coming again and again. So he said, whatever always feeling, take that out too. And he adds, often it is taking this one out and putting it down first that opens a big space. So when I heard that, a part of me wanted, I want the big space. But how can I have a big space when I did not know what was background feeling? I say, he seems to know what it is. I had no clue. So it's important that at some point we could identify, is there in my life a recurrent background feeling? At something that comes up for me in the past, it was a kind of sadness. I could not grab, I could not understand, but a kind of sad feeling emotion, but with a felt sense, like being small with it or being overwhelmed by this sadness. So somewhere I am aware that this exploration can bring some stuff. Being aware of the difficulties that could bring some time, I need to balance this exploration with some resources. I remember a lady in Switzerland, she said, "Oh, Maureen, it's a deep stuff. It's a deep work." So I said, oh. So then how can we balance this exploration with some resources? And I remember Jan Lynn and later John Klagsburn always inviting us to take the time to evoke a pleasant moment. So a resource can be just that. And what could be a pleasant moment? A moment of gratitude for the people who organize that and breathing in this gratitude. So what could be a pleasant moment? So you can close your eyes just a little and evoke a resource for you, a pleasant moment, or looking at a painting, or a pleasant music you like so much, or meeting someone you love. Just this morning, when I am inviting you to evoke a pleasant moment, see if it is possible, or just looking at the sun, or just looking at some flowers, yes, being in touch with a flower, or listening to a bird, or just an inner pleasant sensation that is there right now. Or you're just breathing. That's it. And yes, because we go with the time, I would like to, what is important also, it's like to resource ourselves and also to create some safety. Safety can be gently connecting with our body and the ground. Grounding ourselves can be a very important resource. So the safety, for some people, we often in focusing, you hear us inviting you to, we can invite us to feel our feet with the floor or the surface that is there. Breathing, letting air comes in and breathing out, connecting our feet with the floor, feeling our legs and our sitting bones on the chair, and feeling our body supported by the chair. And we breathe. And sometimes we need a support for our back. And yes, you can have this support. So grounding ourselves in the point of contact of our body with the floor, with the chair, with the back of the chair. Yeah, drinking water. And we breathe gently. So for some people, you know, maybe Peter Levine, so he's inviting us sometime to just have a gesture. And a gesture can go, one hand go under the arm and another hand can go on the shoulder. And then when you feel that, you can feel some safety. Just breathing. One hand goes under an arm, the other hand goes on the top of a shoulder. You can close your eyes and maybe you feel the contact of your hands on your body, and that could create a sense of safety. Maybe and maybe not. It depends. For you see, if you have a lot of pain, you will go very gently with that. You will not create a gesture that bring you pain. But it's a kind of sensing, a kind of container. It's like between our arms. So we could have gesture that create some safety too. So now that we have that, I would like to invite you, because the mind is tricky. When we want to work on background feeling, the mind will have an agenda there. And I am careful with my mind because my mind wants to do it. So I want to share with you a few ways I had to develop to short circuit that mind. And one was this very good, and Laurie Rapaport, in her book, Focusing Oriented Art Therapy, Laurie Rapaport, she invites us to draw the background feeling. And so then we can do two things. We can just draw very simply with a pencil and a paper. You can draw your pleasant feeling. And yes, so I will draw a bird. Okay, top, just like that. So imagine that then you draw gently and not very elaborated, please, just a suggestion of the pleasant feeling. Breathe. So if I evoke the pleasant feeling like a resource, and then you could gently this morning evoke which kind of recurrent felt sense or feeling, which kind of background feeling is often there in my life. And if you're looking too much, you just let your hand with your pencil draw it. I did it yesterday, like a kind of repetition, rehearsal, like about that, and came another kind of background feeling, just drawing it. It was like that. And it's like you are open to be surprised by what comes. Your mind will control and say, I know my background feeling is this one. Maybe, but check if it is true for today. Is the background feeling that I know normally, is it there today? Maybe not. So just be open to see if there is a variation of it today. Yes, I see. It's not like yesterday. It's, yes, like that. And from there, so if you're comfortable with it, there is no obligation at all. You can invite yourself with a color or with a pencil on a piece of paper to just say, hello, what could be my background feeling of today? And in this attitude of discovery, and if I share, for me came some waves. So it's different. And looking at it, I breathe with it and I say, hello, thank you. It's a kind of waves in the belly. That's amazing. So just be aware this morning, a resource, and which kind of background feeling is there for you, manifesting itself to you this morning. Take your time and, forget me. If you need to forget me, just follow you. That's very important. So we breathe there. Somewhere we have some felt sense of a resource, and somewhere we have a felt sense of background feeling. Through focusing, I discover many focusers teaching us a lot of things. And me, because of this mind so often there, I was discovering whole body focusing. That means that the body can move with naturally. So inner directed movement can come from inside when you are well grounded. So for that, the grounding is very important. But what I discovered, I was invited to go to Japan to teach background feeling with Japanese. I said, my God. So translation will be there, but can we do something with the body? So I invite them to have the resource, to draw it, and then to have the paper of the draw, or imagining it, in one hand, and to have the background feelings they were discovering or feeling in the body in the other hand. And I invite 45 people in Fukuoka to be there, finding the, to stand up maybe, or to be sitting in a comfortable position, and to hold both the resource and the background feeling in an equal, holding both in the same time. And, so noticing the movement that comes with the resource. Oh yes, I forgot that. Noticing the movement that could come with the resource, and then noticing the movement that could come with the background feeling. I was going too fast. So somewhere it's like, how my body would like me to be or moving, how my body can move me with my resource, and how my body can move me when I am in touch with the background feeling. So then after, I was going too fast. Then after we hold both, and we can invite our body to see what comes if I am holding both. And you can close your eyes, or even if you don't have a paper, you can just imagine in one hand, I have my resource, in the other hand, I am in touch with my background feeling. And you invite your body to manifest its inner directed movement, to emerge, being with both. And I notice a little something there, a very gentle movement, balancing. So in a way, our body can guide us, holding both resource and background feeling. And you could maybe notice something there. What's happening there? And for some people, it's really too fast. It's too much. It's not your way. And I respect completely your own process. So then maybe already you are experiencing a little something. So you can notice, you can move, you can write, you can draw, you feel free. And you welcome what is there. But for some people, there is background feeling and you can feel maybe stuck. And at some point in the journey of discovering, exploring the background feeling, something, an invitation came. And this invitation was, how could it be beyond this background feeling? And that could be very, very interesting to discover, okay, I have this background feeling, I am very, very uncomfortable with it, and exploring what could come beyond it. And you wait. You breathe gently. And maybe there, the beyond will inspire you to draw the beyond or to move the beyond. In Spanish, the más allá. So the beyond ou au-delà. So we, with this invitation somewhere, we invite our own inner world to move or to explore and do some discovery. And we check if it is still safe for us. And when we don't feel safe, we take some distance and we invite a sense of safety for us. It's very important. Yes. I was speaking of inner resources. Inner resources could be a place in your body where you feel well. And outer resources could be connection to nature, connection with all of you, connection with this focusing family, connection with all the helpers. You know, so the connections can come from many places, resources, inner and outer. And somewhere discovering my background feeling, but inviting the resource to be there. And maybe you discover things. And an attitude could be very important. My friend Elfie Turkop in chapter 4, yes, Elfie was speaking about different attitude in focusing. This lady, Elfie Interkop, yes, she was there. But somewhere it's like she was speaking a bit of background feeling. I forgot to tell you. Yes, her definition was background feeling can be the relationship we have with life, the dominant felt sense that we have in relation to our life, to the life. That was very important. In page 100, she said exactly, Jendin calls this a background feeling, the predominant feeling one has toward life. It could be a comfortable or an uncomfortable background feeling, and it can be both. And the good thing, it can evolve. So the predominant feeling we experience toward life. Yeah, so you make space for what comes here. And what is very important, even if it is hard work, it just maybe just need you to listen to it and to listen to this background feeling from his point of view and just be beside it. That's all, maybe. But what I discovered through the time, since I presented in France in 2000 somewhere and before, it's like it can give access to our true nature. Each time I identified a kind of background feeling, this uncomfortable feeling mainly, if I have enough patience, curiosity, receptivity, creativity, make me discover a little piece of my true nature underneath. I had no clue. So some days it's like recently I was triggered with COVID and people dying somewhere. And I made a huge piece I could never work on with my own father, the famous father-daughter relationship that was very tough. And somewhere a shift came, I had an image, and I was inviting another image to counterbalance a kind of fixed image. And this magical thing, like a beautiful image, was nourishing the stuck place in me And I finally got a shift, and the shift was confirmed by an image of a dream. So a resource can be an image of a dream. Yeah, I had a kind of plant growing in my left foot. Amazing. A radish on my left foot was there. And so somewhere I immediately felt that I was reaching a place of forgiveness to my father, a kind of peace, no more anger. It shifted. And really, really, what we need sometimes is like some attitudes, a sense of discovery, and inviting the body in his creativity, in his movement, or the drawing to be with it. So I said a lot of things, not in the order I wanted, but you know, that's a terrible, the terrible effect of stress is coming there. It's not perfectly, but I hope you got something. And remember, if you need to hear more about it, you could connect with me for free. So where were we? Yeah. So somewhere it's like I have so many things to say and I'm trying not to. So the thing is, you just let it give you what it needs.
Thank you so much for that reflection. You've given us so much to digest. And maybe we can all just see how it landed for each of us or any of us. And we always encourage the shyer people to just speak. The people for whom English isn't your first language, just speak. The new people, just speak. Anyone is welcome. Just whatever is there for you, whatever was stirred in you by what all the evocative things that Maureen gave to us.
I'd like to just say back the question, beautiful question that you brought into this space. What could be beyond the background feeling? Something really powerful in that. So it's not fully formed, but it seems a really great, powerful question.
Yes. It shifted for me when I discovered that. Yeah.
It was basically the background feeling is our true nature. I think at one point you said work nature, but I think that was just a misword. It's our true nature.
True.
Nature.
Yes.
Yeah, and as Beth said, I think it's fascinating because, you know, how we can use, you know, focusing to go beyond our context, you know. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And there is something I want to add. If something is difficult, there is this connection with the larger. And Janine was speaking about our body is part of a gigantic system. So if I am part of a gigantic and I am stuck with this recurrent felt sense, could I invite the bigger space to visit me? And that can bring a wonderful experience also.
Right.
Inviting the larger to visit us, you know. So we never know what we mean by that, you know, in case it could bring something.
I'm so glad that you said whatever you said, because I work with bodies and I work with images. And in the community of focusing, I'm always looking for, where do I fall with all this? And in a certain way, I'm really resonating with your words and your material, whatever you call that, I don't even know. And what came to me about everything was, in a certain way, it feels like a dream. There's something about dreaming that I get from what you're talking about, and I also get it from the way I work. So if you can say a few words about that, I'd love to hear it, or we can talk privately.
maybe privately because
Yes.
we're short in time.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
But thank you for sharing, Nurit. You're welcome with your style.
I'll
Yes.
leave a question in this space, not to be answered, but I wonder how much of your presence to your background feeling is related to that sense of full aliveness that you have in your way of being.
That's an interesting question. I was not aware of my aliveness. I was not I was a very serious girl and sad somewhere, and through focusing, I expanded. And I am in touch with this body alive. I never know what it will bring me. Thank you, Jonathan.
I got in touch with so many levels of background feeling. When I thought about that feeling that underneath, I'm always feeling somehow. What came to me was the word trying, that some part of me is always trying. And then when you invited us to see, well, what would be beyond that background feeling, which is sort of a basic, what we would call in psychoanalysis, an organizing principle, basic kind of primal stance toward life. That felt like, oh, there's a big thing of me beyond the trying. And that's that kind of spiritual edge that we talked about last time, that big space. And then there are other dimensions also of background feeling. The dimension of what we get from our heritage, our families,
Exactly.
all of that, our culture, the background feeling of our callings, our inspirations that are always there with us, and they may not be conscious. Our chorus of voices calling us forward is also a background feeling. So, it was so rich.
Yes, thank you, Lynn. And I want to mention for some people that were carrying that and that and that, it could be absorbed from our environment, from the family environment, geographical environment, transgenerational transmission. And sometimes to know that a part of this background feeling sometimes belongs to the family, belongs to the environment, can create some space, because I felt guilty. I felt guilty to be always sad and sad and sad without understanding it. And sometimes we don't understand, but when Shirley Turcotte said that we absorb it from the people, from the environment, that was such a shift. I wrote an article you could find in Tribute. In Google, you Google Tribute Folio 2008, and you will find my article on that. And I describe a few things. And so somewhere, thank you, Lynn, to share all this, because sometimes we are there, but what is it? Where does it come from? How come I carry all of that? Okay, so now it could be the time to share whatever you want, and even just the silence, or just be there, no forcing at all. Just be you the way you need it. If you need to breathe in the space, you breathe in the space. To move in the space, you move in the space, or whatever.
I just wanted to say that I loved the order that you spoke in, because it allowed for something to arise within me, and it engaged another part of me rather than my intellect. So, but when you invited us to balance the resource and the background feeling, I felt something else arise. And I guess that's what the intention is. But it was very cool.
Good. That's it. It's like it's not the mind that will control it. So you will see what could pop up, and then we explore. Yes.
The new piece for me is the beyond, what's beyond the background feeling. And I had my resource, beautiful resource and background feeling, but what came beyond actually happened. It actually did grow out of the background feeling, I'm sure, with the resource having its arm right over it.
So something new was popping up.
Something grew out of the background feeling. I didn't know that could happen.
For some people, it does not bring you anything, and it could come later or not, and just be the way it is. You don't have to fit with my guidance. We know you are yourself.
Just thank you. I feel very filled up by the experience. I have a lot of thoughts about the sequencing of the way you gave this to us, and that could be for another time. I have a lot of curiosities about that, but I think in my connection with my partner, there was an opportunity there for me to experience something about this grounded presence, which for me also connects with the inviting something larger later. There was something about that sandwich that gave me more and gave me a great insight into my own process in a way that was really new. And it made me stop thinking altogether, which was a great blessing. Thank you.
That's wonderful. I love that, the sandwich. Anybody else? Just whatever is there for you.
Marina, I really enjoyed how you worked with the resource so beautifully alongside the exploration. Thank you. It brought something new for me today. And I loved your warmth, and your natural exuberance was a tonic. And also, just to say, I'm not often able to stay for the breakouts, and I was today, and it was just so beautiful. A very, very special experience. Thank you all.
Welcome from South Africa. Welcome, Pam. It's so nice to hear. So nice.
I just think I'll say, because it was so obvious at the beginning when we came back into the large group, that the large silence that occurs is so large because there's so much that has come, and multiply that by however many people, 40 people.
Yeah.
Silences are really, really important for us. And I think that through the year, I mean, Melinda and I are so thrilled that we've had this project for a year. We've become more attuned with the silences and with the speaking, I think. Would you say that's true, Melinda?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I really actually appreciate the pause, the quiet between.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a comment too about what you, the speaker, Famine, contributed with your exuberance and your movement. It's just your whole body was speaking with your words, and I just absorbed it into my body. It just shifted my sense of who I am today, and it traveled right into the group, and the group just was magical to me. The ability to let the self-consciousness, which is a major background for me, just go and just be there with my two members, Jim and John, so fully, and take them in and share me. Very, very magical for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. It's so great. I don't know about when I say it put us in touch with our true nature. I think really this works through the years, through many, many years of working with background feelings that was difficult, gave me a sense of more humanity, or being in touch with what we call soul, or the larger self, or something just not that was identified to all the conditioning world. And somewhere if we go, but sometimes it's hard work. And so sometimes we need a presence of someone with us. And if my exuberance is giving you something, it's what I recover from my true nature. So maybe it can encourage you to go through the difficult part and just be knowing that more of you can come, even in silence, yes. And if you stay stuck, please give you a chance to have another kind of experience. My email is somewhere in the chat. And so it's like m.freminville @gmail.com. And I would not like you to stay with an unpleasant feeling, but you could have focusing time with some partners. But if not, if you feel that you could need to unfold it, I welcome you in advance with no obligation, of course.
You know, it's interesting. Maureen, we haven't had very many upsetting background feelings this morning. Most is there anybody who had a hard time that would like to speak? Anybody that came up against something difficult, that we want to make room for that also, as well as the excitement.
Yes.
Oh, I want to say that I didn't, I don't feel that I need to work with it again, but my background feeling, as I shared in a small group, is often an uncomfortable pushing rush feeling. But because Maureen told us about not only the resource, but the beyond the background feeling, a tree grew out of my wildly electric movement.
Ah, interesting.
I'm surprised to think that so many people's background feelings could be purely pleasant, but that's wonderful to know.
Encouraging.
Yes.
Well, I think that we had the resource as well as the background feeling. So even if the background feeling, I mean, I don't think we divide, as Maureen said, we can't divide it into pleasant and unpleasant because it's so complex. You know, the more we focus into it, the more complex it becomes. But having that resource there with us, that was lovely, Maureen.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
not surprised that this group doesn't have a lot of unpleasant stuff to work through. We're older and we've done a lot of work, and we've worked through it already. A lot of it. The thing that helped me the most years ago when I had a traumatic experience was there's a Kabbalistic teaching. You have to go down into it and then to bring it back up again. So you go into the experience, through it, down, grab a hold of the time when it was good, take the thread from that and bring it up till today and hang out. And it's amazing what happens if you do that. I mean, it worked for me, if that's of any help.
That's lovely. Thank you, Will. I just want to say that as one of the older people here, I haven't worked through everything. So I'm glad Will has. I have an endless supply of things to work through.
Didn't Gendlin say you work through problems and then you get new problems? That's life moving forward.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that.
Just getting older, you get new ones all the time.
Yes, but with more kind of capability or capacity to give it company. It's true. I am reaching some places I could never reach before, but somewhere the attitude and the availability and the way to cope with it is more there.
Absolutely.
So that's the encouragement.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely true. And the other thing that I notice is that our core issues we're almost born into. They come very early, and then we don't get rid of them and get new problems. We have the same background feeling of those core issues that takes different forms, and we have different attitudes about it and different resources, but that goes all the way, you know.
That's true. That's true. And this winter it happened, and I was with core issues, but the attitude was changing a bit. And the kind focusing teach me how to be more gentle with whatever is there. And that was not there before in my life. I was judging it. I was like, "Ugh," you know, so, but now it's like, hello, you. Ah, you're still back. Hello. How can I be with you today?
Right.
Yes.
That's a wonderful way for us to close our meeting. It's this encouragement that focusing sort of points out the miracle that something might be the very same thing, the very same situation, the very same problem, the very same upset. And when we change our attitude toward it, we change our process, everything is different. And that can happen just in a moment of sensing in and allowing it to shift and to open.
Yes. Thank you, Robin. That's essential. So I will thank you all and wishing you a very good day. And hello, hello, great family.
Thank you so much, Marina. And you're part of our family, and we
Yes.
really
What
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.